Was that resolved?
It's just, all you did was.
I'd like to reconvene the meeting of the St. Mary's County Board of Education for Wednesday, July 24th, 2019, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I appreciate that more than you know.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried, and we will begin with board reports. Welcome.
So I'm very excited that my term as a student member of the board has begun. Already, I have attended the NGHS induction ceremony at Leonardtown Middle, and it was a wonderful ceremony. And I can't wait to, over the course of the year, to share my peers' viewpoints and to get to work with this wonderful board. So that's it.
All right.
Thank you. Great. Welcome. I've been just busy doing things at home and trying to stay cool, so that's really about all I've been up to.
Jim?
I have no board reports.
Ditto with Rita. Traveling, baseball and softball. So that is every weekend. So yay me. And the teams. Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you. I attended the Maryland Association of Boards of Education Board of Directors meeting, which I am a member in Annapolis, and I have been taking time to relax, refresh, and renew and enjoy time off in the summer. Some time off. Thank you.
I want to welcome our new student board member, Nagina Ori. I was thrilled to meet with her and with Mrs. Mancini as we sat down to talk about the responsibilities of the student member of the board, how the board operates, and to make sure that she understands that the entire board is here to support her and answer her questions, and that we're all new at some point, and that we, as a board, operate a little bit differently than a lot of other boards across the state. This board has always believed in transparency, and so while we follow Robert's rules to a certain extent, we do so more for structure, where a lot of boards across the state will not even discuss an issue if there's not a motion to act on a topic coming up. Instead, you'll find that we have a presentation, we discuss things, and then at that point, if the board chooses to move forward, we make a motion to approve or disapprove whatever the item is at that point in time. It allows the community to understand the specifics of the topic and more about it. And so Nagina will be going to the MABE new student board member orientation in the month of August, and I know she'll have the opportunity to meet student board members from across the state. It's a wonderful opportunity, and I'm really pleased that she's going to be able to take advantage of that. So that's it.
Wonderful. Well, again, welcome, Ms. Ori. It's going to be a great year. We get to work very closely together, not only with the matters that come before the board, but also assuming that you're going to continue the same leadership of the superintendent, Student Leadership Advisory Council, the SLAC group. The SLAC group meets, you'll meet every single month with the steering committee, and then every quarter with the larger group, and ultimately culminating in a summit. And then the summit produces some kind of tangible work that will impact the larger community. And in fact, that's what you're going to see today with these public service announcements, videos, that the genesis for them began at the beginning of last year with your predecessor, and then kind of worked through and were really realized, discussed, storyboarded out at the summit. And then it fell to the work of these very good people to make those ideas into a reality, and then smush that reality down to 30 impactful seconds. No small task. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's going to be a great deal. We have fun. We're going to have fun. It's going to have fun. Okay. man, I've been here. So, it's been a lot of fun. I went to the Summer Arts Academy, their culminating performance, way back in June. Seems like forever ago. That was one of our first summer academies that got together. In the end, it was a great performance with music and singing and dancing and theatrical, and it was really quite wonderful. I had the opportunity to go up to the Loudoun County Public Schools Central Office and Tuscarora High School to see how they were using the product that we have moved into. We piloted last year, and then we're going to use across the system this year, called Edgenuity, which is the way in which we deliver digital curriculum to our students, both for original credit or for alternative programming, such as the IAC or Evening High School, or for credit recovery in the classroom across the school system. So they've been using the product. So we got to speak to somebody that was actually running the Loudoun Virtual, or Virtual Loudoun as the program's called. And then we got to see at Central Office how they use Edgenuity for they call their homebound students, but we would call the home and hospital instruction students that, due to perhaps some mitigating medical concern, can't attend a comprehensive school. So it was really quite informative. Just to inform you, we are currently offering online original credit software, our coursework for Foundations of Technology and Foundations of Computer Technology, for more often than not for some of our accelerated learners who want to knock out that required credit instead of having it in their original 9th grade or 10th grade class. Gives them more room to take the courses that they're interested in. I had the pleasure of going down to Great Mills High School. Speaker Dr. Darrell Pines, who is the Dean of the Clark School of Engineering at the University of Maryland, traveled all the way down here to talk to the students who are in the Bridge program at Great Mills High School, the summer program, just to talk to them about how important it is to really invest in education and the possibilities that can come from it. He is an African-American gentleman from the West Coast who was not overly successful in school all the way up through 8th grade until he had a fantastic mentor, an English teacher, by the way, who said, come on, you have all of this potential. He really applied himself in high school, and then went off and got a series of scholarships and grants, and is now the dean of the Clark School of Engineering, which is exceptionally prestigious. So for him to come down and talk to our kids, I thought was really great. Just to give you an idea, so what goes on in the summer? What are you guys doing? Well, first of all, there's a hive of activity. There's all kinds of construction and cleaning and things going on in all of our building. There's all of the ordering and inventorying and all the things that one would think. It's the filling of positions as they become vacant. It's the shuffling of people about the system. There is so much professional development that has gone. So I've got front and back. This is all of the professional development and courses and things that we've been doing all summer long for staff as they rewrite curriculum and take a look at assessments and go to training and do conscious discipline training. Has been offered multiple times this whole summer. Just today for our kids, there is Bridge and Recovery Program at Great Mills High School. There's Camp Dare at Leonardtown Middle School. There's the 21st Century Summer School for Title I students in rising in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade at Greenview Knolls. Also at Greenview Knolls, there's Head Start Summer School. Also at Greenview Knolls, there's Lunch and Learn. At the James A. Forrest Career and Technology Center, there's the Aerospace Camp. And media centers have been open at all of our schools throughout the summer, but specifically today, Greenview Knolls, Benjamin Banneker, Ridge Elementary School, Lexington Park Elementary School, Spring Middle School, and Esperanza Middle School. So if you're interested and you just want to get out of well, it's not really that hot today, but if it does get to be super hot, you can go to the school and you can actually go into the media center. You can check out a book. You can talk to the media specialist who's there. They're also doing some coding and some really creative kind of programming for kids to keep them engaged throughout the summer. We've already finished our Spanish camp, our Fine Arts camp, our Tech Kids camp. And in our Tech Kids camp, you could have done light action camera, learned about video, all forms of videography and software related to that. You could have been an aspiring chef where they made all kinds of wonderful things in the kitchen, or you could become versed in graphic arts. And all of these are ways to draw some of our youngest learners. They're from age 8 to 12 to all the wonderful things that are available within the school system, and specifically at the James A. Forrest Career and Technology Center. So there's been a whole bunch of stuff going on. We are super busy in the summer. We encourage everybody to take time and relax, but what you'll find is your faithful servants ever in St. Mary's County Public Schools are making sure that everything is ready for you when you return in August. So
would you also mention that the students at the Dr. James A. Forrest Career and Tech Center won 3 gold medals at
Oh my
nationals
gosh,
in
yes.
skills pickup.
Yes, and actually, you know what, to give that due diligence, at the next board meeting, we'll actually go through and take a look at each one of those kids and talk a little bit about them. Yes, because it was really, it's fantastic when you see something that comes out from the state level that's 3 pages long, and our kids are prominently featured in all of the press release. It is currently up on the SMCPS website as well as the MSD website, chronicling all of our kids' achievements at the James A. Forrest Current Technology Center with Skills USA.
Perfect.
So with that,
Anything else?
that's it.
Are you sure?
Thank you very much.
All right, any public comment? No. Okay. All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And our first and only action of the day is Dr. Kelly Hall with the Head Start budget adjustment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, this will be the hardest part. Yep. Ta-da. Okay.
You're so good.
Thank you very much. I'm here to ask for a categorical transfer for a vacant position from general ed to special education. And I just want to briefly provide you the context for that decision. We had a late notice, unanticipated retirement from a very experienced dual certified teacher. She was coded as gen ed, but also had a special education certification, so she could provide the service to any child. Head Start requires that 10% of our students have an identified disability, and typically we run a little bit over that, more like 12%. Given this requirement and the fact that we are losing that very skilled and experienced teacher, our leadership team here, our governance team here, as well as the Policy Council, which is the group of stakeholders from Head Start, and our Region 3, they really support this decision. So therefore, there is a request, a vacated instructional position that's regular ed be converted to special ed, and that person would serve as the case manager. There is really no change fiscally. It's a gen ed teacher to a special ed teacher. So the recommended action and my request to you is that the Board of Ed approve this agenda item as presented.
Any questions?
Questions?
I think that's a great idea. Do you anticipate any issues with trying to hire someone? Because I know special ed teachers are a premium.
Mrs. Owens is very aggressively and with urgency seeking candidates for that purpose. We're working really hard. It is a loss to lose the teacher,
Right.
and honestly, she is retiring to provide childcare for her grandchildren. Can't really fault her for that, but she has also said she might be willing to come back in an hourly capacity a couple of days a week. So we
Okay,
may
good.
be able to kind of get some mentoring taking place there, but we're
Okay,
hopeful
that's
and
good.
we're being very aggressive about finding someone. to
Okay,
do
great,
that.
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your support.
I have no questions, thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
None, thank you.
No questions?
All right, may I have a motion?
I move that the Board of Education approve the presented categorical FY 2020 budget adjustment for the Head Start grant and approve submittal of this budget adjustment to the Commissioners of St. Mary's County for their approval as required by the Annotated Code of Maryland.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Marr.
Dr. Marr et al.
We're bringing some chairs up here. We've got a,
Group.
Did we do the microphone thing too?
yes, we have.
You're so, see, that's,
So I feel like you should. That's the seat so I could drive.
so just before you all begin, when speaking, although we can hear you fine, make sure that you grab the microphone as it goes back and forth because we are recording it, and then it gets uploaded to YouTube and saved forever. So what you say and do today become part of the archive that is the rich tapestry of St. Mary's County Public Schools. 40 years from now, hopefully you'll be able to come back and see yourself. Think about that. Okay, good. Dr. Marr.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm very proud to sit here with this great group of students and with Marianne and Colin as well, who have really helped to shepherd this process through. What we're going to share with you is really the culmination, as Dr. Smith shared, of an entire year's worth of work with the SLAC, but a real focused effort throughout this summer to produce these videos that we hope will make a difference in our community at large. You may recall earlier in the spring we presented to you, we received the grant from the governor's office for opioid prevention and awareness to create a public service campaign focused on that very effort of providing awareness to the dangers of opioid use and addiction, as well as providing resources for support. Through that grant, we have had youth forums during one lunch. We have had purchased curriculum materials to integrate into health classes. And what we're going to focus on today is really the discussion of the public service announcements. So, with me today, we have Justin Louis Bose here from Leonardtown High School, recently graduated. Sophia Williams, I believe is sitting over there. She's from Chopticon. Annalise Wolford from Leonardtown High School, and Joshua Wright from Leonardtown High School as well. Both Joshua and Sophia are currently students, the rest are graduates. We also have Olivia Carr, who is at the Savannah College of Art Design, has been working with us this summer, and Justin Dockery, who was unable to join us, is a student in the video program at the College of Southern Maryland. They've been working closely with Colin McDaniel and Marianne Williams throughout this summer and late spring, actually after school hours throughout the end of the school year as well, to put together what we have here. I'm going to say a couple of words about the connection to SLAC, and then I'm going to turn it over to our students to share their work. Throughout the school year, the focus of the Superintendent's Leadership Advisory Council was advocacy and really getting out key messages to their peers to make change. As a result, in the spring when we held the summit, the entire focus was on developing public service announcements, trying to figure out what the key message is. How do you script that out? How do you tighten up the message so that it can really deliver and very poignantly, in a very brief amount of time, get the message across that sticks with people. And so with that, Josh is going to tell us a little bit about that, how that connected to the first step of the process.
For the first step, we wanted to take the ideas that the students, both high schoolers and middle schoolers, because they had different ideas for PSAs. A lot of them were doable, some of them weren't as doable, like sometimes they wrote a script with different locations. I think there was an explosion in one. So we took the different ideas and we kept the core idea, but we made it doable to represent the same message, but maybe in a different way. And that's mainly what the entire ads, the commercials, the 30-second PSAs were. It had their same message, but it was a different way of portraying it.
And what we're going to share with you, before I turn it on, we're going to be really focusing in on the opioid messages that are out of the PSAs. What follows too is there are also several more that are being developed that capture other messages that weren't necessarily related to this theme. So there's, for example, an environmentally focused one. There is one focused on how students learn that we can share with teachers. But their immediate focus was working on this part of the project. So.
We wanted to keep the core message provided by the SLAC students. That was the main challenge because it was easier for us to maybe think of an idea on our own regarding like a 30-second commercial or ad, but we wanted to keep the same ideas that they had and portray them in the best way possible.
Thanks to the ideas presented to us from the SLAC board and from our supervisors and the plentiful information we got from the health department, we were able to persuade and inform our audience and create effectively themed 30-second PSAs to convey the theme that the grant represents.
So with Josh kind of touched on this, with the videos there was often where it was like they gave us a story that they could like think of like at their school with their classroom, and they're like, oh, we could have these people around. It became more of a problem creating those videos when it was out of school times, and we're like, we can't have a classroom of kids because they're all like doing stuff. So we often had to kind of refine or rework things so that we could properly convey it with the means that we had with the budget and practical settings that we had, so that we could, effectively convey the theme with what we were given and what we had access to.
And throughout the whole process, we've been going back and forth between Dr. Marr, Ms. Williams, and Colin, checking our progress, seeing if we're on topic, as well as we sent out at least once a survey to all the SLAC kids to see if they liked them, if they kept to the message, if they were influential, if they got across the theme, which some of them didn't at first, so we upped it up a bit. Some did, some were good. So yeah, that's been a whole process, keeping it on topic-ish.
So as Annalise said, communication was a really big part of everything. We talked to our supervisors all the time, every day, and they helped refine them into what they were, because without them, they probably kind of would have been a little lost.
So as Annalise mentioned, there was a survey. All the videos were sent out to the Slack members so that they could say, are we on target with this? And so you see a couple of the graphs from the survey that they sent. Additionally, we met with the superintendent. Dr. Brewster and her team came in and reviewed the messages, the earlier versions of the videos, to see if they were on track, along with Cheryl Long and folks from our student services office. And so the process went around several times to make sure that what we're putting together really is the most refined message. And they've done a terrific job in also dealing with me and my constant feedback, as well as the feedback from others throughout the process, to make sure that it was really spot on. They've been tremendously creative, and I think what you're going to see, which is the next set of slides, is really some powerful messages. And that's why you see final versions, because oftentimes they'd have one that was final, and then there would be, oh, you know what we really need to do is add this, or we need to tighten this shot a little bit. So it was a real look at how the video production process goes too. So I want to specifically thank our partners in this process. The students were working not just with our office, but the superintendent's office, student services, safety and security, the county health department, as well as Comcast Spotlight, who Tiffany Barthelme from Comcast Spotlight worked with them at the summit, but also talked to them about really how do you put that message together that's going to be on a public broadcast. And so with that, we'll start with our first one, which is the every 11 minutes. Is somebody going to give an intro on that one?
So this one is about the abuse of opioids and how dangerous it can be.
Now we have video number 2.
For this video, we wanted to kind of convey like the long-term effects of opioid abuse and like how it's more common than people think. So this video mainly portrays a student who's in his room, and then his dad comes in with an opioid pill, and he's kind of drugged out. He falls asleep on the couch, and then when he goes to, because the kid is thinking, hey, let me take a pill, let me get a buzz, or let me get high or something like that, and when he goes to reach for it, he sees his future and what the long-term effects of abusing opioids would be. We all have a choice. Don't choose to throw your life away.
Nice voiceover at the end there.
That wasn't
no,
good.
both dulcet tones.
So this one was about fentanyl. We have a little bit of problem with that. So we tried to present it in like it starts as dark, dramatic, we're having a drug deal, and then it switches to like, oh, so these are the things that fentanyl does. We're trying to put it like in more of a like surprising light, like a, oh, what? Like you're, what? You know? So, yeah.
Got the stuff?
Yeah. By the way, that's not normal coke. It's got fentanyl.
What's that?
It's an opioid that's like morphine, but it's only about 100 times more potent. It's good stuff, man. A trace can kill you.
What?
Yeah, it's a lifetime supply. You only have to take it once. Have fun.
If you knew the cost, would you take the risk?
Good. Okay, so this one was something that's a little bit like that I feel like I see more often. It's basically the uprise of vaping and how it's not just like a fun thing, you can do it once and that's fine, you've experienced it. It's like you become addicted and then it's like becomes a thing, and there's been an item of peer pressure around it, so we really wanted to capture that with this.
Hey man, you gotta try this.
Man, I don't know if I should.
Hey, it won't hurt you, man. Just do it. Just try it.
So, following this presentation, obviously, we'd love to hear your feedback, but our next steps are that we will be airing these PSAs on both cable and satellite broadcast. We're going to be posting them to our YouTube channel, as well as using them in school broadcasts throughout the year. Like I said, we are working on other PSAs. The students are working on other PSAs, including ones for safety and security. A student-focused run, hide, fight video, for example, is one of the ones on the docket. And then also looking at taking some of these messages and tying them to print advertisements as well. For example, that 11 minutes one you saw at the beginning, turning that also into a billboard so that it can communicate that message, and then you'll have not just the recurrence of the video that you might see, but that reminder on billboards as you're driving up and down the roads here in Southern Maryland, as well as print in the newspaper. And then the movie theater has also offered to give us some airtime as well, to have them as aired before previews. So with that, we would love to hear your questions or comments.
Being in high school, I've definitely seen that this is a huge problem, and I think it's really good that you guys made these PSAs to get this important message across, so they're really good.
I am impressed. 30 seconds trying to put out a message is not easy. And especially that 11-second one, that is powerful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure about the rest of the board members, but I just thought that is a powerful message. And I think one of the things, it's one thing for an adult to tell, you know, you to not do something or to do something. When you have your peers telling you, I think that also sends a message, you know, to get across to, you know, your fellow students. I think they were very well done. Keep up the good work and with, you know, putting out more messages.
I just would echo what Mrs. Weaver said. Fentanyl is a very, very dangerous drug. I never even heard of it until recently. Sheriff Cameron gave a talk to a service group about the problems with fentanyl and how deadly it is. And that message is very, very important, because it seems to me that a lot of the young folks, they're interested sort of like what's happening today. They're really not particularly interested in what will happen tomorrow. So if there's a message there. There may not be a tomorrow. I think it's a very powerful statement. So Thank you very much.
I think it's great. I was at the student summit when this whole concept was born, and to see what you guys are putting together and some of the storyboards, and now seeing the final product. I think it's excellent job. I guess I have. Are you planning to do more PSAs, or these are the 4? Or you still have some in the works?
There are additional ones that have already been created. For example, there's one on mental health that was actually rolled out when they held the mental health night here at the board office earlier. And there's several others that were developed that are currently in process. I mentioned a few of them earlier. As the summer progresses and into the school year, those will also evolve as the slack comes back in. We've also applied for additional grant monies into next year so that we can make additional ones. We're waiting to hear on that funding. But yes, these their student focused message I think really hit home, and so the more we can keep this process going, the better.
The one thing that Calvert County did with some of their grant money is when they pulled their students together, the students created a message aimed at the parents, because you guys know how you get all the workarounds that we try to put on you, right? And that's what they did, is that they created a message still done by the students, but for their parents, that, hey, when we do this, this is what we're really doing. And I think that is very effective, because I can sit in the parking lot at any high school and sit there and watch 20 kids vape before they go in, right? But every parent is like, no, my kid doesn't do that. But yet they're the same ones that troop through this boardroom and tell us what we're doing wrong. So, I think that's another different avenue to look at, as from your perspective, how you can help educate your parents on what the kids are doing. So, but I mean, I think it's great. And then also on the advertisements, are you going to hit social media at all?
Yes.
And the only reason I asked that is because I know that there was a sponsored post. I don't know, my daughter was reading it to me yesterday about the kid who had a stroke because he was vaping, and he was vaping through 3 pods a day, and it caused this catastrophic stroke, and now I think he's suing Juul about it. So that was, I know that is making the rounds, so that kind of,
through the airing of the both cable and satellite, there's also a contract, as part of the contract would stream them through various streaming devices too. So it would go through your all the paid subscription services.
Okay, yeah. Great job, like I said, to see it from the start back in April or May. I can't remember when it was. I think it was April through now. Excellent.
I want to congratulate all of you on a tremendous job that you did on the PSAs. I'm very proud of all of you. We have some very talented students and administrators who are working with our students to bring out the best in students. This was a lengthy process. You just did not throw it together. You got input from the students, and you took that seriously in mind when you were developing them. You formed partnerships and strengthened the partnerships that we have in the community. You utilized the available resources that you have. Students might have had some ideas which were really over the top, and which you couldn't put those into place, but you modified them to meet the needs. You adapted them, you refined them, and you reviewed, and you came up with a final product. And with artists, it's never perfect. You always say, oh, I could have done that, I could have done this better, that better, we should have put this in, taken that out, but you did a wonderful job, and these are the first of the ones you have done, and I think the student focus and the parent focus is good to consider both. I don't know what are the limitations of the grant funding, that it maybe have to be student focused, but parent focus is also very important. And I like the idea of them being aired in the movie theaters. I think that would be tremendous, because I watch them, and many people do, to see that our students, how truly amazing they are, and how they can do something reaching out to other students. So the future is in good hands. I have a lot of confidence and faith in our students. that they are working hard to help all students be better students and better productive members of society. And that's what you're doing right now. Really appreciate each of you. Thank you for a job well done.
I certainly echo what the others have said. I thought the 11-minute video was especially powerful. Nicely done on the voiceover. That I think really just accentuated the message. But what I'd like to know from each of you is, I know some of you are still in school, some have moved on. What are your plans? What are you pursuing? What do you think you want to do?
Sorry, Annalise.
I'm going to the University of the Arts in Philadelphia for film. Hopefully going to do something with that.
I'm currently a student at the Savannah College of Art and Design, and I'm in the film program, and I just finished my freshman year, so getting through college.
I'm going to Montclair State University as an acting major and trying to pursue acting as like my passion.
I have one more year at Leonardtown High School, and then I'm looking to go to Full Sail University, and I'm trying to pursue a career in writing and film directing.
I will be a sophomore at Chopticon, and I am in their Academy of Visual and Performance Arts, where I plan to continue doing theater.
And I also want to thank Mary Ann Williams, who's a very humble person. She does a tremendous job. She makes the school system look very, very good. And I want to thank Colin McDaniel. He's always at our various events, recording. Thank you for all that you do to put the word out to let the citizens know what SMCPS is doing. Thank you.
And all I want to say is, so we hear a great deal about STEM. STEM. We're all going to be mechanical engineers. We're all going to build things that whatever. STEM. It's very important. The arts. All of the arts. That gift to write, that gift to act, that gift to capture all of that in an incredibly compelling format that helps people really receive a message. The arts, STEM, STEAM moves us all. The arts are absolutely essential to all of us being happy and productive. When I hear of all of your ambitions, please know that what I've seen from all of you in my limited time, your lives are going to be full and rich. And when you become truly and deeply accomplished, when you produce or perform in such a great fashion, remember us. Remember us. Just remember us. Because we knew you when. I'm glad I have multiple years with you. I'm glad I have at least one more year with you. We're really going to, the whole group gets, we keep on bringing the band back together. And what we see is people that are with us for multiple years throughout, the caliber of work and the focus of the direction is, it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And, I can't say enough for all of you, and just thanks. It was great. It was great working with all of you. You are an exceptional group that's truly open to feedback, and that's so exceptionally really important, and understanding the responses of your audience. So just thanks. Good work.
Thank you all. And to close, I just want to echo Ms. Washington. Thank you for highlighting Mary Ann and her work. She really worked with all of these students throughout the entire process, as she does through every video that is produced. Takes the same type of process of feedback. So thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, our next meeting will be on Wednesday, August 14th at 9 a.m. and we are adjourned.
Nicely done.
Well, enjoy Newsies.
Yeah.
It was